Hi everyone. Today I'm going to take a look at the IS-4 and answer the question: is this tank better than you think, or is it just another generic Russian heavy, just worse than the IS-7 the armor department? So there are a lot of misconceptions about the IS-4. People say that it's basically a typical heavy tank, which is nested in the Russian heavy tree, in the tech tree, and it has a fairly low average damage. It has a mediocre gun. It has the same DPM as the American heavy tanks, as in low, with I think 258, with bad gun depression, with some horrible dispersion values. It also has a low HP pool for a heavy tank. It has an average to lowish power to weight ratio. It has a mediocre top speed, and it also has a bad cam. So things don't really look that bad, good. Sorry. So okay, I think that's the video. The video is done. The S7 is better, and yet the tank does have a pretty accurate gun if you give it time to aim. At least for a Russian tank. It has some good aim time. It has some excellent armor layout, and that's important. Armor that allows you to side scrape effectively. It's close to an almost impenetrable turret if you can hide the tank's forehead. It has also some good traverse speed, and it has good mobility soft stats. And also, one thing that might surprise you, the tank has an excellent view range of 400 meters, which is the best in class. So the tank can be considered as a brawler with some excellent survivability that can scout for itself and actually hit the target it's firing at from a distance. Now I think it's time for us to take a look at the way the battle starts and develops right now. So what I did was went on the typical heavy line, right, on this map, because on the other side you really can't see anything, and like I said, this tank does have some good armor, and it has good view range, and also the distance over here doesn't really mean that much, and you can actually shoot the target you're aiming from. That's the best example that you see over there. And also, as you saw, on a point this point, so in 2 minutes, despite the gun's mediocre DPM, I did around 2.3k damage, and also blocked, which is important, blocked 2.3k. So if I was in another typical medium tank or a heavy tank on this position, I probably would have been would have lost quite a little bit of HP by now. Also, as you can see, you can aim pretty well in the tank and aim at tracking the enemies, aim at weak points, and generally do a pretty good show for yourself with this tank. So at this point I was just trying to get the BZ, just to get him out of the game and reduce the number of guns aiming at me, but unfortunately the RT keeps on pestering us, or me, and I just snapshotted again at the chieftain. So the tank does work pretty well at snapshotting, especially for a Russian heavy, which is important. So the gun is treating you like a king, like Skill used to say with the Russian tanks, and this tank specifically does that. Now I did ricochet this shot. I think this was a bit unlucky. I think that should have been a kill on the BZ, and at this point I was just, okay, I need to see my angles, just stay over here, do some standard stuff with the Russian tank. And as you can see, even though the artist keep fires at me, the tank didn't take too much damage from the RT, which is another thing, because the tank does have some good view range. I see the projectile coming behind me, so he's trying to get a few shots in, but I managed to hit him. Then I see the T-95. I pull back to get him a bit forward up here, and then I track him, just trying to to see if I can buy some time for our teammates to come. I angled the tank, so side scraping works really well in this tank. Don't be afraid to side scrape, even over angle slightly, and that will make a lot of enemies like this T-95 to get baited into firing into your tracks, even with the extremely high penetration that TDs such as this one has. I also track him again, and now he's a sitting duck for all three of our tanks, who when see that there's a snack on the menu and the meat is on the menu again, they keep on coming, right? So in conclusion, you need to use the... Sorry, I did actually block this this E3. I didn't mean to, I was just trying to get towards the chieftain. And going back to what I was saying, you need to use the guns. The gun is fairly accurate, right? So you can use the armor to bully your enemies and the gun to intimidate them, right? And as you can see in the Russian tanks, the gun treats you like a king. So there's no question about that in my mind. As you can see it again, you don't really hit those kind of shots with the German tank. You just don't. In the American tanks you hit fairly often, but you don't really hit all the time. So at this point I'm seeing that the grille is behind the hill, so I need to get into an elevation, in an elevated position. So I'm thinking of going into the hill over there, and I'm making my way towards that place, right? So I also see that there's an object 777-2, and I decide, okay, let's take on the easier target, which is over here. Shoot him in the back, and then I'm seeing, okay, I need to go. The guys are probably gonna finish him. If not, I will try to finish him myself. But then I also want to go towards the grille. I finish up the 777-2, or second 777. I don't know how to call this tank. And then you can also notice that the tank has some pretty mediocre to low ammo capacity, so you only get 30 shots on this tank. So I always take at least a few hits, but now I basically finished all my standard rounds. Now I'm starting to use the hits against a tank that doesn't really need it. So I hit the grille, I waited and aimed. When you fire at a distance with a Russian tank, you do need to wait and aim a bit. Right, and now I'm trying to get towards him, but unfortunately, or fortunately maybe, the team manages to take him, and yeah, that's fairly good. And now basically the last tank is spotted. I try and get to another hill, maybe get another elevated position, but it's pretty clear that I won't get the final kill, and I just raise the gun in salute to the fallen enemies and our friends on this side. And yeah, that was a pretty good battle in the tank, right? 5k damage done, a lot of blocking damage, basically blocking an entire flank of four other tanks, right? Heavies, TDs, even mediums who tried to flank me. So yeah, this is one of those tanks in which you can do really well. Now I'm gonna just get into the final stats. So now we are going to take a look at the post-game stats. As you can see, the battle was good enough for a Mastery Badge Class 1 with a steel wall and a Confederate medal. We did 5.5k damage, we blocked 4.5k, and we also spotted for, or assisted for 1.9. This allowed us to get an experience of 1200, and with 2 kills that's pretty good. So we got second on damage and first in experience. And also due to the missions you can get some really good results on this side as well. So that was pretty good. So that is 4. As a final conclusion to the tank, like I said, the average damage isn't that impactful because this tank just relies a lot on the armor. If you know how to use the armor and you can find yourself in a good position where you won't get easily flanked or swamped by a lot of enemies, this tank will actually deliver. With all the drawbacks that I previously mentioned, this is still a good tank. So On that note, thank you very much for listening to the video. If you did like it, maybe even click the button with a like, and also consider subscribing if you actually enjoy the content and you want to see more. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye now.